Hello and hi guys, hi there, how are all of you? I hope you are fine. Well, my name is Yusuf and I'm back on Yusuf Reacts. Well guys, today I'm back again with a very interesting movie review that is there for you people. The movie review that I have for you guys is literally something which is quite interesting. Now why am I using this word that it's quite interesting? Because of the fact it has a different kind of a flair that's there. This movie has so much to offer that I bet you guys would have never seen such kind of a film before. Again, this movie has a very good character that is being portrayed by none other than Brad Pitt. The name of the movie that I'm going to be discussing with you guys is going to be The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Now, the thing that is there is what? The thing that is there is this, that there is a particular time which we guys see. It's the end of the war. The end of the war has actually happened. The thing which tends to happen is what? That there is a person known as Mr. Button. His wife is expecting a child. Now her wife has actually given birth to a particular child, but his wife has died. And the child that she has given birth to is someone who is just like a monster. He's extremely, I would say, hideous in one regard. And in other words, if I talk or say about him, he is someone who is in a very bad particular kind of a state. And he's ugly, he's horrible, and he does not have any kind of appearance that is there of a young guy. It seriously looks as if there is an old particular child that is born. Now that is something which Mr. Button, when he sees it, he's already quite depressed because of the fact that his wife has died. He eventually is really annoyed and angry on this particular thing, that what has actually fate done with him, that his wife has died at one particular point, and on the other way around we see this thing up that even Mr. the Button actually is expecting that like this child is also now a monster. He's a curse on his particular family. He decides what? He picks the child up. He plans to throw him into the river. But over there, because cops start chasing him, he couldn't do that. Since he couldn't do that particular thing up, so the thing that he does is what? The thing that he does is this, that he actually takes it over and he takes it to a particular old age foster home, and he eventually throws the child at the steps of it, and he just goes away. Over there is a very kind of a woman, black woman, who's there. Now she's someone who is always wanting a child, but she actually doesn't have one. And he actually, when he sees this particular thing up, or the thing that tends to happen is this thing up, she picks this kid up. When she picks this kid up, she takes that kid inside. Now that is an old age home, and over there are all old people that are already there. So eventually the thing which tends to happen is what? The thing which tends to happen is this thing up, that this kid eventually then gets entered into an old age home at that particular time. Now gradually with time, when this kid tends to grow up, he tends to become a bit different because he's living in an old age. So he actually does not feel it because he himself is an old guy. So the thing which tends to happen is this, that with time we see that he does not have any kind of hair, and his hair are obviously they are grey and typical white hair, which clearly show that he is someone who is extremely aged. But with time, when things pass on, that girl actually possesses, or that mother actually has a certain kind of attachment towards this particular guy, because she says you are special, and that is something that really hits him, and he considers him to be his mother. Now the thing which tends to happen is what? The thing which tends to happen is this thing up, that this kid that is there, not a kid by the way, he's an mature adult man. Now he eventually tends to, as time progresses, he becomes friends with all the particular people that are there. We see that how the old age homes are, how people eventually tend to live at such places. What tends to happen is what? The thing which tends to happen is this, that there is another lady, and she's a grandmother of a particular child. That child is someone who comes over because by mind he's a kid. Obviously his appearance does not reflect that. His appearance reflects him to be an old man. But the thing that is there is this, that kid actually really goes along with this guy. and both of them are very nice. They gel along well, and each and everything go along in a very nice particular manner. Now the thing which tends to happen is what? The thing which tends to happen is this, that as time progresses, he eventually wants to explore things up. He requests his mother that I want to go out, I want to explore the things up, and she gives him such a permission, especially when he reaches a certain age of 18. As he reaches a certain age of 18, there is a slight change that also comes in him, that he tends to become or look younger. And not only does he feel younger, but he is younger. And 18 goes back of his particular time, and when he's now able to move without the crutches, and he's someone who is now in a very good particular state that's there. Goes out to explore, he comes across a particular captain, and that captain is of a particular shipboard that's there. Now that captain eventually is someone who is like that, and he eventually just takes him board along, and eventually he goes along with that. And as soon as we particularly see this thing up, that captain eventually comes his friend, they start exploring different things that are there. He sets on a voyage with that particular individual, and that voyage actually is going to prolong for a lot of months that are there and things like that. There comes a situation again that tends to happen, that the World War II actually tends to happen, and the incident of the Pearl Harbor eventually tends to take place. Now, since the incident of the Pearl Harbor takes place, now the captain who is there of that boat is now assigned by the US to take over. He eventually agrees with all of them, and he also now becomes a part of it, because his ship is going to be the ones who's going to be having this duty, that they are going to be taking out all the particular soldiers who are going to be injured, and the people who are going to be from the marine, if they have any kinds of requirements, they fulfill that for them. A strike happens, all of them die except for Benjamin. Now Benjamin actually then is quite depressed. He goes back and comes back home after a certain time period that's there, and he is now in his obviously start of his 30s are there. When he goes back, his mother is really shocked and surprised to see him. The lady whose grandmother was there, the grandmother is not there anymore. He eventually wants to pursue where that girl is, because he really had an affection for her. That girl is someone who actually then comes to know this thing up, that she is now become someone who is a very good ballet dancer. She's very proud of her life. She has a very, I would say, glittering kind of a life that's there. He eventually goes and visits her out, but when he visits her, he comes to know the reality, how she is and how eventually things go along. There is a certain accident that takes place. She gets hit so badly that now she cannot dance, because she has a lot of kind of injuries that are there. So now the thing which tends to happen is this, that during this time of depression that is there, he eventually says to her that he likes her, and he eventually wants to marry her. As soon as this thing is going on, his mother passes away, and he eventually is there at the funeral of the mother. Then eventually with time we see this thing up, that they have a particular child that's there. Now she eventually is really having a very good life with him. They both love each other. They have a spectacular life that's there. But eventually with time he realizes that the case or the problem that he has is this: with time it's making him younger. Alright? And that is how he's going to die. Like, he came to this world as an old man, and he's going to end up as a young man. And that's how the things eventually tend to go along, and this is how things are. She actually does not know what it is, she does not understand his idea, but he says, I want a father for my particular child. And he eventually then leaves in search of that particular thing. And the thing which tends to happen is what? The thing which tends to happen is this thing up, that we see this thing up, that now there is a girl who is there at a particular hospital with her particular mother, of course. She did not have much time for her mother. Now all these things were written in that particular diary of her mother, and reading it, she revealed that who her father was. Now the thing which tends to happen is what? That eventually before the mother actually died, she actually narrated the entire incident also in that diary. She actually, when she becomes old, she goes to the same old age home where he is present. And now he is becoming young with age, and until he becomes a small child and he dies, and that lady is the same particular person who was there with him when he died. And this is how the story ends up. A very nice kind of a film that was there, really interesting, literally is gonna give you goosebumps. Very interesting story that is there by the end of it. Anyhow, if you guys have not subscribed to the channel, I want you guys to do that. I want you guys to press the like button, comment on my videos and share them as much as you guys can. This is me, Yusuf, saying goodbye to people. Thank you very much for your time, guys. Take care. Bye bye.